Well, Tommy, it is that time of year again. Winter is upon us, so we figured we would make a list.
Yes, we are making a list of the top 10 cheapest all-wheel drive cars. And we should say that this list was originally written up on Motor One by our friend Jake Holmes about a year ago, and we've revised it for the 2018 model year, or in some cases the end of 2017. Got some new cars on here, took some ones off, so let's get right into it. At number 10, what do we have?
We have the 2017 Nissan Rogue Sport S at a starting price of $22,770.
So this is a car that was released last year at the Detroit Auto Show, so it's pretty new, but it also isn't that new because abroad it's called the Nissan Qashqai.
Qashqai, something like that.
Yeah, it's
with Q's. With Q's.
Yeah, with Q's.
Yeah.
Anyway, here in the US, it's the Rogue Sport. It's got this 2-liter, 141 horsepower 4-cylinder made into a CVT. And it's a pretty cool looking little car. You know, we've got a nice spoiler on it.
Yep.
Steel wheels, because it's the S model, at the $22,770 starting price with a all-wheel drive system. And let's talk about what kind of screen we have inside, because
it's actually kind of a big screen. It's a 5-inch touchscreen display.
Yep, and we've got USB compatibility, we've got Bluetooth compatibility, all for that base price. So a pretty good value for tech. Not the fastest car out there. At number 9 is a Jeep. So we're in the Jeep world with the 2018 Jeep Compass Sport.
That starts at $22,495. And for that you get a fair amount. You get, of course, the 2.4 liter Tiger Shark 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated. It makes 180 horsepower, which is a substantial increase from that Rogue Sport. This gets 22 mpg city, 31 mpg highway, and what I really like about it is that comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox.
So once again, with the Sport model, the base model, we don't get alloy wheels. We have steel wheels. They're painted black, so they do look pretty cool. And as we go into number 8, with the 2018 Subaru Legacy, we're gonna jump up to a 6.5-inch display, a 2.5 liter CVT, and 8 cup holders and bottle holders.
8 cup holders. You know how much you have to pay for 8 cup holders, Tommy?
In the Legacy, no.
$22,195 as it turns out. But that is a lot of cup holders.
Yes, so pretty good value. CVT only, unfortunately, in the Legacy. 175 horsepower. There is that big 3.6 liter 6-cylinder flat Boxster 6, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, my buddy has one of those. And he's got some exhaust and a tune on it, and it sounds amazing.
Does it really?
It's really cool, actually, yeah.
But of course, you're not gonna get that one for $22,195. This is the base model of the Legacy, the 2.5i.
This is, however, our MPG champion on this list with highway MPG of 34. Which is pretty good.
So these MPGs are according to the manufacturer, so 34 MPG according to Subaru, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially for a mid-size sedan. That's a pretty reasonable number. And you'll see on this list we've got a ton of Subarus.
Yeah, a lot of Subarus, a lot of Japanese cars, actually.
Right.
Moving on to number 7, we have the 2017 Nissan Juke, which starts at $22,100, for which you get a 1.6 liter turbo, our horsepower champion on this list with 188 blistering ponies under the hood.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you also get a CVT, but you do get 26 miles a gallon in the city and 30 miles a gallon on the highway, and of course all-wheel drive.
Now you joke about that 188 horsepower in that Juke, but it's actually pretty quick. If you get the front-wheel drive Juke, you can get a manual. In all-wheel drive, you can only get the CVT, which is kind of a shame, but it's still pretty quick. Fun fact, the front-wheel drive Jukes have a torsion beam rear suspension. The all-wheel drives have a pretty sophisticated multi-link rear suspension, so you do get that nicer rear suspension. This isn't your favorite car on the list, is it?
It's not my I'm not a huge fan of the Juke, but that being said, you do get auto-off headlights, an aux cord, and a 6-speaker audio system.
Yeah, you do get you still get a screen, you still get some MP3 compatibility.
Yep.
Just wait till you drive it, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll stay optimistic about it. Moving on to the next vehicle now, we have the 2018 Subaru Crosstrek at number 6 on our list, and that starts we're dipping down here, Tommy, again, $21,795. Now, for that you get a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, a Boxster engine, of course, makes 152 horsepower, 6-speed manual, which I love, of course. Up here, it's a little lacking in power, maybe, because it doesn't have forced induction, but that's okay. You also get a staggering 100.9 cubic feet of passenger space, and what else, Tommy?
8.7 inches of ground clearance, which is very respectable. This may be our off-road king on the list. Surprisingly, even though we've got a couple of Jeeps, the amount of ground clearance and the Crosstrek does have a very effective all-wheel drive system. So, you know, we haven't driven the new one, but it might be the best off-road. 23 mpg city, 28 highway with that manual transmission and that 2-liter. Okay, number 5 is a compact crossover. That's the 2018 Honda HR-V LX with all-wheel drive.
That starts at $21,670. For that, you get a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, 141 horsepower, which is on the low end for this list. It comes with a CVT, but you do get really excellent gas mileage, 27 city, 31 highway.
Now, so when we talk about the HR-V, I really do like the HR-V. It's a really neat little compact crossover. We've got these things called the Magic Seats, the second row Magic Seats.
Yeah, what on earth are those, Tommy?
They are really, really configurable. So not only can you fold them down, they're split folding, but you can fold the bottoms up.
So you like have a flat bottom in the cabin?
Yeah, so you can really reconfigure the back of the car to fit your needs. Just roll a bicycle in there.
Cool.
A pretty fun stuff. You also get a rear view camera as standard with the HR-V LX. You know, it's a very basic model, but it'll feel pretty premium. Honda really does make a pretty good interior now. And once again, just under $22,000, $21,670. And number 4, just beat it a little bit on price, is our next compact crossover.
That is, of course, the 2018 Mazda CX3 Sport, which starts at $21,360, for which you get a 2-liter engine, naturally aspirated. You get a 6-speed automatic transmission, 146 horsepower, which isn't a ton, but that's okay. And you get 27 mpg city and 32 mpg highway.
Yeah. CX3 Sport, I think it might drive a little bit better than an HR-V. A little bit more affordable too. The issue with the HR-V from a driving standpoint is it has the CVT. The CX3 Sport has a really lovely little 6-speed automatic. You have a 7-inch touchscreen display on the inside. Probably a little bit of a better interior. I know I like that HR-V interior, but the CX3 is just a little bit more premium on the inside.
It's a really nice place to be. And you know what, Tommy? I suspect that of all the cars on this list, this might be the driver's car champion.
You might be right, even though it's a crossover, it really is a fun little car to drive. Okay, going away from the compact crossovers is a really cool looking car, I think. It's the 2017 Mitsubishi Lancer ES. A really affordable way to get all-wheel drive, $20,295.
That is super cheap.
So we've driven the Lancer, and it looks a little bit cooler than it is, if I'm being honest. It's a little bit tinny, the door, when you close it, it just doesn't feel super quality. But you do get a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated. It's no Evo, but it is all-wheel control. AWC is what they call it. 168 horsepower with a CVT. But that does return you pretty good fuel economy.
Yeah, 23 in the city and 30 on the highway. And of course, inside you get some cool stuff like a 6.1-inch infotainment display with a backup camera.
Yeah,
as standard.
And you also get 7 airbags.
Wow.
So they'll... No, I'm serious. That's cool.
How many? I don't know what like is a relatively large amount of airbags.
Well, that is a relatively large amount of airbags.
Right.
So 7 airbags. They updated the styling a little bit, so we've got nice LED running lights. Oh, I just think it's such a cool looking car. If only it was faster and had an Evo badge on the back.
And you know what? The worst part is when you're trying to get on the highway and you have that CVT and that 4-cylinder sitting at like 3,000 RPM, just that's when it starts to lose its cool factor.
It's a little whiny.
But I'm with you, it does look okay.
Yeah, and you don't get steel wheels for the $20,295 price, so pretty cool there. Okay, back to the Jeep world. 2018 Jeep Renegade Sport is
$19,995. We have dipped below $20,000, Tommy, which is astoundingly cheap for a vehicle that comes with all-wheel drive.
So you can get it cheaper, but not with all-wheel drive. And this is one of, I think, 2 turbocharged cars on our list.
Yep. So it's a 1.4 liter turbo, the same one that comes in a lot of Fiat products.
So like the Abarth, actually, the 500 Abarth, but it doesn't sound as good.
No, but you do get a 6-speed manual transmission, which is, you know, kind of fun. 160 horsepower, 24 mpg city, 31 mpg highway. But what do you not get for $19,995, Tommy?
You don't actually get AC or cruise control. You have to buy that in a separate package, which is over $1,000. Well, so yeah, you want AC, so that's going to be more like a $21,000 Renegade when it's all said and done.
It would still make the list, though.
Yeah. Now the Renegade in the sport trim is probably the one I would get if I was to get one. It's very affordable. It's fun to drive because you get the turbo. It's all-wheel drive, and you've got a manual transmission. And you've got the Jeep name, so all sorts of fun stuff in one package there. But our number one choice comes in at $18,495. This is a car that has standard all-wheel drive and a boxer engine. So once again, we're in the Subaru world. What is it?
We're back to Subaru with the 2018 Subaru Impreza.
So it's new.
It's new. You get the 2-liter flat 4 naturally aspirated. It makes 152 horsepower. And you get it's a 5-speed manual, but it is a manual transmission, which is always fun. 24 mpg city, 31 mpg highway. Fun fact, the hatchback, this is for the sedan, the hatchback is $500 more.
Right. Now, I think that some of the Subaru interiors in the past have been a little bit, you know, on the darker plasticky
lacking,
side.
yeah.
But for 18 grand, 18,495 to be exact, you get all-wheel drive. Of course, all these prices are before destination, but still, that's a heck of a lot of car. So guys, thank you for joining us on this top 10 cheapest new all-wheel drive cars you can buy today. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, stay safe out there, and you know, don't drive if you don't have to in the snow. It's not a good idea.
What?
Yeah,
what is that advice?
What do you mean? What is that?
I love driving in the snow.
Well, okay, but if you don't have to, don't do it.
No, just do it.
Just
If
do it.
you've got all-wheel drive and snow tires, do it. It's fun.
Okay, and snow tires.